your names, and so I'd have to stop what I was doing, try to figure out, did I do this patient, where is it at, and then usually I found out it was a Marion patient or somebody else in the department did it, but she was so sure I did it, so I stopped what I'm doing, figured it out, called her back in Marion to let her know, but now I am way behind. And she just did that constantly, in CT, in ultrasound, I mean, on and on. Just, I had a packed full schedule, more than anybody else. And then she would do this little harass. Yeah. I had to fight for my vacation days, even though I've had them on the books for a year. And that really ticked the supervisor off, because I refused to give up my days when all her little buddies decided now they had time to take this day at the end of the year. But at the end of the year, I've already had mine marked since 4-year, so I refused to give it up. And I had to fight for overtime. I mean, I wasn't one to really jump into overtime anymore. I mean, in the beginning, I mean, 1 year I put 164 hours in overtime, and in 1 year. And boy, that was a lot of hours and a lot of money, but I just would stay over when I was needed to finish a job, or if Dr. Pelfrey asked me for his help, I stayed over and did that. But then when I would write the supervisor the email, I would have to fight her for those trivial little minutes. I mean, 15 minutes. And it would drag on and harass me for a week, 2 weeks, for 15 little minutes. She would say I didn't do it. Even after Tim Pelfrey would say I did a good job and thank you so much and stuff like that, Then finally I would get my 15 minutes after I had prove all my documentation, Then after she kept writing me and doing all the HIPPA violations and yelling and just doing things against me, she got me out of the department just to humiliate me.
You didn't go through all of the list of things that she did to you. Damn, we're going to start the whole thing over again. You're never going to get this right.
She denied me. Oh, I did too. Stop it right there. And then we can go back.
I mean, you're doing a good job, but you're skipping it. You're just winging it. Go through them now. Look at what you're missing. If you'll look at what you're missing. I mean, hey.
And besides denying my overtime and the increase of the workload, and I wouldn't get any help from coworkers, it took a tear on me mentally and physically, my back, and I've had problems since my 2nd year there is when my lungs fell apart. And there was minor items where she would blow up in front of employees and patients at me. She would lie, and I would stick up for patients, and it was a horrible thing. It was unreal of some of the stuff. I was accused of mistakes and proven wrong. I was humiliated in front of employees and patients.
Why would she lie? You didn't miss that.
She would lie about incidents.
She would lie to protect the employees.
She would lie about incidents that her pet employees did to veterans. And the veterans that went to Dan, a patient advocate, to inquire about, she would lie like crazy to them. One incident, I told them both the truth because I witnessed it. And boy, was I on the shit list for that. Another incident occurred, and I wrote an electronic patient incident, and so did Cindy in the emergency room. because there was another incident with the same person against a veteran that was uncalled for. You know, but nothing ever happened to anybody else that made any mistakes as far as mismarking films, changing films, people's names. One patient had a PICC line, the other one had a tube, and that they get mismarked. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes that occurred, and that was all swept under. But little things, like not stocking a room, was a major catastrophe for me. It was a harassment, constant harassment. I know I've got notes because I wanted to kind of go through a lot of the stuff, so maybe you guys got a hold of it. And there was just a lot of constantly accusing me of doing stuff with other patients. That I would have to fight for my vacation days, humiliated by move to logistics, and then I was forced to go around through the hospital with a putty knife and scoop off those little round orange discs. So just for humiliation, I was being punished, as they said. And then I was told on a Friday that Wednesday of the following week was my termination day, March 13th. And that was devastating. I finished out, I don't even know if I finished out the day on Friday. I think I may have came home, but I know I tried going back to work on Monday, and I was just so tore apart and unbelievable, just totally unbelievable, that I ended up calling Randy Crouch, who was supervisor of logistics,
Tell him why you were.
and told him I just couldn't stay at work because I couldn't stay there with all you guys. And
Why were you so upset? You were upset because the union had backed you all this time, and then they dropped you like a lead balloon.
And it was like the union all through this gave me the false pretense that, oh, she can't do that, she can't do this, she can't do that, she can't do this, she can't do that. But by God, she did this, she did that. You know, Shirley was the only one that said, Vicki, it's going to get worse before it gets better, because she's the one that helped Allie. And I think Shirley must have done one hell of a good job, along with Allie, to prove Ann wrong. And I had the other ones, and like Gwen did a good thing where she went over Ann's head one time to get my vacation days off that I had down for a year. But the HIPPA violations, I never heard any more about. To this day, I haven't heard any more about them. We've had some meetings with the EEOs, and the EEOs investigated and talked to patients, or talked to co-workers, I should say, under oath. After she talked to me, under oath, we say something, and it's supposed to be all truthful. We can get it for perjury if we lie. Okay, well, I received in the mail then this book, okay?
That's not a book.
And then I received this book, and then I received this book, To Get Me Lost in Paperwork, okay? And that's a typical thing, we all know that. So, but instead, I read them, and I took notes on correlating pages, and I've kind of marked them with tabs and the ticket things and circled them, because these two books have so much perjury in them. The people in here were supposed to be under oath to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. They're government employees, and by God, there is so much perjury, it'd make you sick. And these books here correlate with a lot of the stuff in those books, I've numbered them, gathered evidence on each single one. You may see the numbers. So there's a lot of perjury cases, and these are documented, dated.
You didn't say that
time.
what they were doing, those files. Files are proven that that's perjury. You didn't say
Yeah.
that.
These files are proven for perjury that was said in here. And I honestly think the EEOC person that sent this knew it too. Because I found an incident where she wrote about there was two people that said opposite things, and she wrote it at the bottom of the page. But the EEO knew there was so much perjury here because they had copies of the evidence stuff I sent to them.
You're never going to get a fair thing from the EEO.
So, the EEO, see, I might as well scratch them off. You don't get a fair shake with them. I don't think you get a fair shake with the government. They called me and made me some offers. The offers were ridiculous. But I'll let you know what in every one of the offers, one of the things were, instead of putting in I was terminated, they would change my record to being resigned. So that's how easy things can be changed around. And that pisses me off. You know, you shouldn't. This is the government, the United States of America. And the government can just change anything around to what they want and do what they want. What happened to our civil rights? What happened to taking care of vets? Huh? What?
Get to the final page and ask.
And so what we're doing is, I've been trying to get a hold of a lawyer to take on the case. And most of the lawyers I get, I don't know if they're afraid of it or what, but I am in need of a lawyer to help me out, because it's getting to a point where I refused every one of the offers that they made me because it was totally ridiculous. And now it's getting to a point where we're going to be going to court, and I don't know all these little terms that lawyers have, and I need assistance with that. And then financially, I need assistance too, actually. I'm not loaded with money since now I don't have a job, and I've been paying $500 a month for my own insurance. So we need help in any way that we can. And we have developed a website. And the website, our email address is right here, Fort Wayne VA Case at hotmail.com. I know the watchdogs of the VA, I know you guys got a new address. Hopefully one of you guys have seen me do this and get a hold of your group. But it's Fort Wayne VA Case